Tuna, welcome to the SportsGrad podcast. You're one of the OG members and you're now part of the furniture at SportsGrad, stepping into a role at HQ helping people get started in sport.
Trust me when I say this, if I'd gone with SportsGrad earlier, I would have received so many offers earlier.
What's really cool to see is that now that you're helping out with the program too, it's cool to see you using it as a pathway or talent pool to fill some roles at Football New South Wales too. I saw you send out a few the other day, is that right?
What I started doing was I started selling my football and Pokemon cards to make rent.
Oh no. No, you can't do that.
It was tough for me back then, and I didn't get that much help, whereas I want to help as much as possible.
Hello and welcome to the SportsGrad podcast, the ultimate guide to make it in the sports industry. My name is Nathan Peroni and I'm the new host of the SportsGrad podcast, and here at SportsGrad we've helped people land 815 roles in sport. On the podcast, I chat with people in the industry and find out how they got hired into dream jobs in sport. If you want to know what people are doing to break in and grow their career, hit subscribe to the pod and subscribe to our newsletter for even more advice. Or if you want to give yourself a competitive advantage in the job market and put your career on a rapid new trajectory, go to our website and apply for the next cohort of the SportsGrad Method Program now. Coming up on the show today is Tunahan Gunner, also known as Tuna. Tuna is a programs manager at Football New South Wales, where he has helped to launch and scale a record number of school programs. In his role, he's also helped to hire a record number of coaches to grow the game of football and activated partnerships with the likes of EA Sports. Prior to this role, Tuna worked on the landmark FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia in 2023, working inside a $120 million sponsorship ecosystem, and before that at Sydney FC, again in the school program space. Tuna is also one of our SportsGrad career consultants, so if you want to learn more about joining the SportsGrad method, reach out to him and book a call. Just to let you know, this podcast was recorded when Ruben was still in the hosting chair, so keep an eye out for Rubes and Tuna, and make sure to grab a pen and enjoy this chat with Tuna.
Hey guys, Ruben Williams here, founder of SportsGrad. We'll be back to the episode in just a second, but I just wanted to take a moment to tell you about the SportsGrad Method Program, which has been helping people land jobs and major sporting bodies in as little as 14 days and doesn't require you to take out a massive debt to get started. If you are looking to make a jump into the sports industry, but nothing seems to be working for you right now, then why not apply for the SportsGrad Method Program? Inside, you'll get given a proven playbook and a one-on-one industry mentor, as well as access to the SportsGrad network, plus much, much more, all of which have helped people land over 800 roles in sport. If you're ready to back yourself and fully go after your career and not let life get away from you and wonder, what if I'd only given that a shot? Then you're the kind of person who we'd love to work with. So head to sportsgrad.com.au/program and you can apply to join us. Tuna, welcome to the SportsGrad podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Ruben.
No, my pleasure. It's been a long time coming. You're one of the OG members and you're now part of the furniture at SportsGrad, stepping into a role at HQ helping people get started in sport. And we've just come back from a coffee with our Sydney community, which you are leading the Friday charge of that, which is cool. But keen to dive into and share with everyone a bit more about your story and what you've been up to over the last few years.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well, the way we like to start these episodes is with a few quickfire questions. So,
sweet.
The first one I have got for you is what inspired you to work in sport?
So pretty much since I was a kid, I've been a fan of football, played football all my life. Had the dream of becoming the professional footballer like my idol, David Beckham.
Yep.
That didn't turn out to be the way that I planned, but pretty much.
What position were you?
I was a left winger.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, no way.
Oh, there you go. We'll have to have a kick sometime.
Yeah, 100%. Well, the more years that go past, the further back I go. So now I'm a centre defensive mid. So who knows? Next year I'll probably be in centre back and then goalkeeper.
There you go.
But I'll probably have a gut by then.
Someone said to me, the more years that go by, the better I was.
Yeah. That's true. That's also true. Just because you know more of the knowledge of the game and everything.
Yeah.
But pretty much, so David Beckham was my idol growing up, just because he was flashy, the superstar. And obviously when I didn't become a professional footballer, the next best thing was to obviously work in sport and work in football.
Yep.
which is where I kind of led to.
And what was your first ever sports-related role?
My first ever sports-related role was more so I was working for a community club called Waverley Old Boys FC, and I was pretty much the head coach, where I would take care of all the teams within the club and ensure that all the fixtures were set out and sent to the parents as well as the community to know that their specific game was on at a specific time, but also in charge of taking care of their coaches who were coming down and coaching those teams. So that was my first one. Then I rolled on to Sydney FC holiday clinics. That's actually a funny story, just because I had emailed Sydney FC quite a few times before that, asking for a role within their community program. And at that stage, they had a very small community team. And I had never heard back. But there were a couple boys in my MPL team at Dunbar Rovers who were coaching there. And what happened was, one day, one of my friends came to me and he's like, "Hey, mate, I'm really sick. I've got a holiday clinic tomorrow, but I can't actually go because I'm sick. Are you able to cover for me?" And I said, "Yeah, sweet. Let's get it done." This was at like 9:30 at night. Anyways, he said, "All right, a guy called Paul Reed is going to call you." Anyways, gave me a call. Reedy was amazing. And he's like, "Hey, mate, can you do the job?" I was like, "Yeah, pretty much. I'm the man." And he's like, "Sweet, come down." So I went down, pretty much coached 5-year-olds for that session and for that day. And then from that one day, turned into a full 5 to 6 years at Sydney FC.
Wow,
Yeah.
Far out. What a sliding doors moment.
Yeah.
Next question for you is, after high school, if any, did you do extra study?
Yes, I did. So I completed a Bachelor of Business at UTS. So that was marketing and sports management. Yeah.
And is there an interview question that you love to ask of people that you're hiring, or one that you can recall answering yourself for the role that you're in?
So for myself, I usually love to ask, what does success look like within the role, within the next 6 to 12 months? But also, what does it look like within 3 years? So it's short-term strategy, but also long-term strategy. And then within the interview, you kind of get a vibe. I usually ask that question towards the end, but it's something that you can really use, especially at the start of the interview, if you ask them a question as well. I like to keep interviews more of a chat as well. That way it's flowing and I'm not getting interrogated. But yeah, pretty much that's what. Yeah,
well, there's a man called Jim Kaler who spent 9 years at the Cleveland Cavaliers as the Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing. And he was the first ever person I interviewed for SportsGrad back when it was a YouTube channel.
Yeah, wow.
And this is over in the US. And I asked him, like, what do you look for in when you're interviewing people? He said, likability and their ability to turn it into a conversation. So if you were to interview with Jim, I'm sure he would love to have a chat with you.
Yeah, I'm sure we'd end up being there for like 3 hours instead of the one.
Yeah, exactly right. Yep. You probably get the job offer on the spot as well. Next one for you is a book or podcast recommendation that has helped your career.
A book that I've read recently was a book called Ikigai, and it's a beautiful sky blue looking book about the way of life from a Japanese point of view, and how they live their life happy, or as happy as they can. So there's some key tips in there where it's, for example, eat till you're 80% full, just because you'll live longer type thing. And I'm sure that's true, just because I've heard that growing up from my parents as well. Don't stuff your face, eat till the 80% mark. But I was a little chubby kid when I was younger, so I always loved food, especially from a European background.
But it talks to that Venn diagram as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. So what I took out from that book was more so the flow state of working. So when you're in a flow state, you can go your ups and downs, but once you find that middle ground, you are most effective. And that's what I've kind of tried to do throughout my career, in terms of once I find a role that I'm quite settled in, then I will go in and kind of get into a flow state, but in order to achieve all my goals.
Yeah, your Ikigai's got 4 circles where it describes what you love to do, what the world needs, what you're good at, and what you can get paid for. And if you find something at the center of those 4 things, that's your Ikigai. And it becomes much easier to enter that flow state, which is really cool to hear that you've found something that, meets all those different things. Next question for you is, if you could try another job in sport for a day, what would it be?
Probably event manager for F1.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
Yeah, okay.
You need to meet George O'Donovan, who joined SportsGrad, I think a similar time to you, 2021, was living in Melbourne, and he's now made his way over to London and works as in broadcast operations for Formula One, working on their events. So yeah, he's currently doing what you'd love to do, so we'll have to introduce you. Awesome, thank you for answering our quickfire questions. Well, let's get into more of your journey. I'm keen to chat about how you ended up at Football New South Wales, and you mentioned Sydney FC for 5 or 6 years, and there's FIFA Women's World Cup as well, which is really cool to hear. But many people listening to this would have either chatted to you coming through the program, or about to chat to you as well. So I'd love to ask you, firstly, what was your first connection to SportsGrad, to the point where you're now ending up in this role where you're helping people get started themselves?
Yeah, it's a good question. So back in 2023, when I finished up my contract role at FIFA for the Women's World Cup, it was a funny 6 months, just because I'd finished in August, and what happened from there was, within the next week after I finished, I received a job offer from AO, from the Australian Open, which I had to decline, which is something that I never wanted to do, just because I've always wanted to work at the Australian Open, and there was always a hype after the World Cup being like, oh, lots of people from the LOC here were going over to the AO, which would have been amazing. Anyways, I had to decline just for other reasons, and then I was unemployed for about 3 to 4 months. Now, the reasoning behind why I was unemployed for 3 to 4 months was because I didn't want a casual role, or I didn't want a part-time role. I knew I had the experience behind me, enough experience behind me to go into the next 3 to 4 months, or to kind of go forward and find a role pretty quickly. Now, that obviously led to 3 to 4 months without a role. The first couple months I was looking for a role, getting rejected, and then I'd start again and then just do the same thing. It was kind of rinse and repeat until I figured it out that I'm doing something wrong. I think my ego definitely got to me, because obviously I had finished a World Cup, etc. I had all that experience, but I didn't actually have a job.
You kind of thought, I've got FIFA on my resume, surely someone will notice me and pick me up. Yeah.
And mind you, I was getting...
You've got an offer from the AO as well, arguably the best tournament in the world of any sport, in my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly. So I was definitely I was at that high where I was like, oh, I've just rejected a role at AO. I should be employable within the next couple of weeks, or maybe a month. Anyways, that led to a couple of months. And there was a realization moment after the 3rd month, because I live out of home. I was like, mate, I gotta get moving.
You can swear on this podcast.
Okay, so gotta get my shit moving. Yeah. And I'd been following you since I'd started at Sydney FC, which was a very long time ago, which was 2017, 2018 mark. And I had always followed you, knew what you were doing, but also knew what SportsGrad was all about. But I just didn't know how to take the next leap. But it was in that moment where it was vulnerability, where I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's go. let's do it. So had a look at the options. We had the subscription options, so annual, monthly. I said, yes, sweet. My ego was still up there, so I went for the monthly one. But practically that was mainly just to obviously use the resources as much as possible. And obviously one of the major ones that I always think about is my resume. So I think my resume before then was quite standard, but as soon as I swapped to the resource that SportsGrad had created, I was getting interviews left, right, center. And that's when I started to become more confident because I was going into interviews. I wasn't putting my eggs in one basket. I had seeds everywhere.
Who were some of the organisations that you were getting interviews with?
So a couple one of them was Cricket New South Wales. So that was the Sydney Thunder and the Sixers. That was one of them. I had an interview with Volleyball New South Wales as well. And then some other corporate roles as well. And
what was some of the feedback that you were getting from employers?
The feedback was great. I'd walk into the room and they'd be like, "Oh, I love your resume. You've got quite a good background in terms of your experience," and that would obviously be great. Sometimes my execution in those interviews weren't the best, but it was just getting that experience of going into those interviews. At the end of the day, even if you do get rejected from a role that you probably should have received, it's a lesson, but also you never take it personally. You may have not been a good fit for the company in a different aspect. Yeah, the other thing that came up was obviously being a SportsGrad member was mentioned to me when I would walk into the interview as well. So I'd sit down, they'd look at the resume and be like, "Oh, great, you're a SportsGrad member as well," which kind of increased my credibility, which I obviously felt more confident as well. And it was great because they knew what SportsGrad was all about and they knew what the company was doing for everyone within the community as well who had joined.
That's really cool to hear, because I know like we tell everyone like ads who joins the program, and back then that membership, add SportsGrad to your resume and add it to your LinkedIn, so people actually know you're a part of this group of people who are trying to go about their career in a very specific way. And to your point around, the employers saying like, "Oh, we know if you come from SportsGrad, you are of a certain ilk." The other night we ran a workshop introducing people, and some people reintroducing to them how we want SportsGrad people to be perceived, and the kind of values that we have and behaviours that demonstrate that, because what we're trying to do is fill the industry with incredible people who do a great job when they are working on World Cups or Australian Opens or Grand Prix, etc., and trying to help them become what we call an off-field athlete. And so that's really cool to hear that as soon as they saw the logo on your LinkedIn or your resume, they were like, "Oh, you're part of SportsGrad," and their ears kind of prick up. So that's really cool to hear. Let's go back to like the start of your career, because you mentioned how you got into Sydney FC. What was your time at Sydney FC like, and how did your career progress through roles at that organisation?
Sydney FC was great. My foundation of skills were built at Sydney FC, just because we went through highs, we went through lows, but Sydney FC was a company that we were all in it together, no matter what. It was just amazing. I was very lucky enough to have a mentor or a manager that kind of took me under his wing and taught me the hard work ethic, the kind of how to be patient, kind of taught me all these skills that not any other manager would usually teach. So I was very lucky.
Or take the time to teach it as well,
Take the time to teach it. And he always had a different way of teaching things. It wouldn't just be like, "Oh, here you go. This is the paper. Go and do it." He'd Yeah, he's very much a part of my success of where I am now in my career, just because of the things that he did for me.
Did you have a few different titles there?
Yeah, I did. So I started as an intern. So after my community coaching, I started as an intern, and that was mainly just helping with holiday clinics. So I was working as a school's casual coach throughout the days. And then 1 to 2 days a week, I'd work as an intern as well. From the internship, I actually got offered a role 3 months in. I don't know what it is about rejecting roles, but I rejected an admin role at Sydney FC 3 months into my internship. I said, look, this is probably not the best thing for me. I probably won't get the best out of it. So I'm going to continue what I'm doing now, and hopefully there's another role. It was a big gamble, big risk.
Yep.
But the internship was meant to be 6 months, ended up being a year, just because I just kept doing what I was doing. And I ended up with a schools coordinator role at the end of my internship, which was perfect timing.
I think Catherine Jeffcock is now in that position.
Oh, no way.
Catherine's a long time friend of SportsGrad and OG member, and was a part of cohort 1 of the program. And she joined the program after when she was on her way back from London, and within a few months landed a job at Sydney FC as well as St George Illawarra. So
nice.
She got 2 jobs very quickly after joining the program, but one of them was the I'm pretty sure it's definitely got to do with school programs. But I'm not sure if you've chatted to her about that yet. But
no, never chatted to her yet, but that would be interesting to see how it is now.
Yeah. Okay, so you end up in that role, and then how did the transition to FIFA World Cup happen?
Yeah, so from schools coordinator role, I went into a development officer role, working with the associations within our remit. So started with a hard association just because there were a couple people beforehand that couldn't crack the code of that association. So they brought in the big gun.
The big Tuna.
I'm kidding. Shit. Everyone's going to hate me.
It's okay.
So they brought in the big gun. I walk in and I pretty much was there for a year with Sydney FC, obviously, but working with the association for a year. Cracked the code, built a very strong alliance with them as well, and then moved on to 2 associations. Obviously from there, left Sydney FC in 2022, and then the transition was I actually didn't have a role for quite a few months either. So it was pretty much just me trying to do what I was doing before. So finished at 2022, and it was things that I was in the same boat as before. I hadn't looked at SportsGrad. I didn't want to not that I didn't want to join, but my ego was up there and I didn't know what to do.
You thought you could do it yourself, is that right?
Exactly. Thought I could do it myself. And to be fair, I had a couple of individuals reach out to me and saying, hey, we've got these projects we're working on. Would you want to work on? I declined and said, no, I'm looking for a full-time role, etc. Anyways, that was probably after my first year of moving out. And it was a funny time because obviously after you move out, you're in the big world on your own, and there's no income actually coming in. So back then, I didn't even think about going for a casual role at Rebel Sport or the local cafe. I was just so determined to just get this full-time gig. Anyways, that didn't happen. And my savings was running low. So then I didn't want to tell my girlfriend at the time to be like, oh, I've got no money left. Because it's just something that I didn't do.
Yep.
I didn't want to think that she would look at me like, oh, this guy is useless.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So then what I started doing was I started selling my football and Pokemon cards to make rent.
Oh, no. No, you can't do that. They're precious artifacts.
I know. But look, I made a mozza on them. It was crazy.
Jeez, you must have had a hell of a collection.
Yeah, I did have a good collection, especially the football side of things. I had like David Beckham cards, Messi cards, all those, the GOATs. I think Ronaldo's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So sorry, Messi fans. But pretty much, I'd listed them on eBay. Out of the blue, this one guy came out of nowhere from the States. And he's like, I want your whole collection. I'll pay big money for them. I said, wow, where the hell did you come from? And that kind of kept me going.
Can I ask how much he paid you for the cards?
Yeah, so he paid me $2,500.
Yep. Wow.
Just for probably 5 to 10 cards.
Wow.
But I gave him a couple extras.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So that kept me going for a couple, maybe a month or two. But that definitely helped me in finding my next gig.
Yeah. So you're literally doing whatever it takes to kind of just like keep going.
Yeah, doing whatever it takes. And like looking back at it now, I laugh. Back then I was crying.
Yeah. But then the role at FIFA Women's came up.
Exactly. And out of nowhere, I had applied for these roles at FIFA Women's World Cup probably a couple months beforehand. But I went all the way to the end, but I was declined. And that was just because the other individual had more experience. Obviously, after these months of selling cards, the role came up again. I said, oh, that's odd. Let me reapply. Reapplied, got a call that day. And then they were like, oh, yeah, we know you've been through the process. Let's go for one more interview, and then we'll go from there. Did an interview with my manager at the time, Brianna Sampson, who is amazing, by the way. Very talented, very unreal individual, and great at her job.
Shout out to Brianna. She'll be listening.
Yeah.
And what was your title, by the way?
At FIFA?
Yep.
It was the marketing rights delivery coordinator for Allianz.
Yep. So did you work closely with Ryan Middleton then?
I did.
Yep.
So this is where my story comes in. So then I did that interview and did the interview with FIFA, got a call saying, you're successful. I was cheering because the couple months prior, I was crying that I didn't get the job. Anyways, while I was when I started the role, I found out who the person that took that role was, and it was Ryan.
Yeah. Okay. And I didn't know this. Asking that question. But go on.
So, and obviously we're working together, and Ryan's amazing as well.
Wait, so did he get another job internally quickly? Is that why the role opened up for you?
No, so the role was opened up just because closer to the tournament, they opened similar roles.
Oh, they needed another one of Ryan?
Of every stadium. But Ryan ended up being a manager.
Okay.
So it was a weird dynamic at that time. So it was obviously Bree as the national manager.
Yep.
And then beside her was Ryan prior to that time at the end. And then obviously closer to the tournament, then the per stadium coordinators and the managers started popping up. So closer to event time, they'll start advertising even more, and
that's when you came in to do Allianz.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why Ryan and I know each other is because we were team liaison officers together for the New Zealand women's cricket team during the T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got prior World Cup experience.
Yeah.
And so we travelled around Australia together, making sure that, you know, Sophie Devine and Susie Bates and Amelia Kerr, you know, had all their luggage from Melbourne to Adelaide to Perth and whatnot. So yeah, we spent a good couple of weeks or a month or so on the road together, having a great time. And
that's the dream.
Yeah, I mean, he's now at Cricket New South Wales, and he's also a SportsGrad mentor. So for those who aren't aware, when you join the program, we pair you up with a mentor, someone who's willing to kind of pay their experience forward and catch up with you. And a large part of them are just people who I've met over the time. And so Ryan is now part of the program. So you'll have to reach out to him and be like, hey, I'm part of SportsGrad too now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like me and Ryan always have a chat here and there every couple months. I still remember I had tickets for Taylor Swift concert, and I had 2 spare. And I was like, Ryan, do you want these? And he was like, yeah, let's go, mate. So
awesome.
he went with his girlfriend while I was like front stage.
Well, they've just had a little baby.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah,
So
he's in
congrats,
dad life.
Ryan.
Congrats, Ryan. Shout out to Ryan.
But yeah, no, Ryan was amazing. And definitely like huge shout out to my manager the marketing rights delivery manager for Allianz, who's Rob Abernethy. He was also an amazing individual who helped me at the time to kind of go through all the problems and the struggles, find solutions in a different way. But I'm still connected to him now. He's like he's also like my mentor. So if there's any like struggles that I go through, I'll give him a call, being like, Rob, I need your help, and he'll be there for me.
Just on that note, because we mentioned, Ryan's mentoring people, you've got your own mentor as well. What are some of the benefits that you've found by having a mentor and having someone senior who's been there, done that in your corner supporting you?
I think sometimes, obviously, you got to put your ego aside and you have to reflect on everything that's happened in the past. But also, when you have different opportunities come up, you need to, sometimes you can't actually think in the way that you want to think. It really depends on what you kind of want in life. Whereas sometimes when you're in that moment, your mind is quite jumbled. So having an individual like Rob or Bree or Ryan, they can kind of chat to you in the way that they will tell you straight, black and white, but also they will be able to kind of empathize with you and kind of tell you, hey, okay, this is the path you want to go. These are the tools and the resources you should use as well. Just, it could help you. I know Rob, a couple months ago, I called him for something, and he provided me kind of like a breakdown of the pros and cons of each scenario, and he said, go with the scenario that obviously you have your heart towards, but you'll have a gut feeling and you'll know which one once you write it down on paper. I said, like back then, old me would have been like, I'm just going to write down on paper. That's not going to make a difference. Whereas new kind of like evolved me went and did it straight away. And I did it and I had clarity straight away, which is what you want.
Totally. So it sounds like one of the main benefits of a mentor for you was like, if you're at a crossroads where you're struggling to decide what do I do in this situation, rather than kind of dwelling on it for hours, days, sometimes weeks, you've got a mentor you can call and they can help you find out exactly what you need to do very quickly.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And I'm very much a person that I want to make a decision, but I don't want to regret the decision that I make. Like once I make that decision, it's final because I've taken into consideration all the other options as well. Yeah.
I've got a handful of mentors as well, which has been great too. But one of the other great things I've found about them is it like triples your network. It's like now you've got your own network, but you've got their network as well. It's
exactly.
like, hey, who can you introduce me to as well? So the circle of people that you are in touch with just kind of grows exponentially, which is good fun. Yeah,
100%. And Rob's worked all around the world, and he's just amazing. Like I always say, you had done the FIFA role as a hobby, and we have a laugh about it as well. Because his experience was like crazy. He did such an amazing job at that time. We went through different struggles within the World Cup, as every event goes through. But we got through it at the end, and it was a very successful campaign.
Amazing. And what are you doing now? You're at Football New South Wales.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's your role? What does that look like?
Yeah. So at Football New South Wales, programs manager for sporting schools. So last year, around midway midway in 2024, the sporting schools program was in the hands of Football Australia, and they made the decision that they're finally going to give it to each member fed within Australia, which opened up a new role at Football New South Wales. I went into the role, interviewed, successful. I was buzzing, and it was a beast, just because I had to create a whole new program or whole workforce and a whole new program from scratch, just because it was a brand new role. My managers, Helen Armson and Ed Ferguson, who hired me, so big thank you to them. But they knew that I could do this role and do this job, because it was a huge task. So I started in November 2024, and pretty much I had a month prior to Christmas and then a month after Christmas or New Year to have the program ready to rock and roll by term 1, which was start of Feb. So that means hiring new coaches, having the equipment, organising school programs and confirming these programs with teachers, the whole lot. What I am doing now is obviously working as a programs manager for sporting schools. If you don't know what sporting schools is, it's a government grant that's provided to schools who apply through every funding window. And let's say, for example, Surrey Hills Public School want a football program.
I literally went to Surrey Hills Primary School, but the Melbourne version.
Oh, no way. That's crazy. But yeah, so pretty much a teacher will apply for funding in term 4 for term 1. And the Australian Sports Commission may approve or may decline their grant. If they're approved, then usually the school gets an average dollar amount of $2,500 to $3,000 to spend on any sport within the ASC, like the Sports Commission sports that are within sporting schools. If Surrey Hills Public School wants to provide a football program, they'll go through and it'll come to Football New South Wales. What happens from there is I organise the program with the school and the teachers, and once that's finalised, I'll organise the coaches to deliver the program.
Yep.
Obviously, the aim of Football New South Wales now is to ensure the kids have the best time possible in order to convert them into full-time players once the season starts. Because sometime in my previous experience when I was a coach at schools, I'd go into schools, do my introduction, be like, hey guys, it's Tuna. And the kids would go nuts, but there would also be kids being like, who the hell is this guy? And what sport what is he here for? Because a lot of kids actually don't know what football or soccer is all about, or is. So it's our job to make sure that they have fun, and that our main aim is for them to go home happy. So then they go home, and when their parents ask them at the dinner table, what did you guys do today? Coach Tuna Fish came over, and
we call you Tuna Fish.
Yeah, tuna fish, tuna roll, tuna sushi, anything. Crazy. I've had so many.
If you jump on a call with Tuna, make sure you call him Tuna Fish.
Yeah,
Tuna roll.
That's unreal. But yeah, they talk to their parents saying, yeah, Tuna came and we played soccer, we played football, and I think I want to sign up. So that's our aim at Football New South Wales, to kind of keep the retention rates within football. Now, obviously, being in the role for a year, we've now developed it to a really good stage where the first year was mainly the quality of the delivery. Now we're focusing on getting the strategy right for the next 3 to 5 years. What does that look like? And how we can evolve the game of football within schools. So many, one achievement from last year was obviously we had a record number of schools at 230 programs, both coach delivered and teacher delivered, within New South Wales. So that's the most amount of schools we've ever done at Football New South Wales in a year. But also another remarkable stat is football was the best deliverer in Australia for term 2. So football was rated the best delivery sport within Australia in term 2 in 2025.
Wow.
Yeah.
As a result of, conversations and strategies and programs like the ones that you guys are helping to create.
Yeah, exactly. So that was great. We're now up to 40 coaches. So we've got about between 40 to 50 coaches hired within casual contracts. Whereas at the start we had 20 because obviously we had to get rock and rolling pretty quickly. It was a very busy time, but it needed to be done to get the program up and running.
I love the game development space because you are right at the coalface of where the impact of sport happens, and that's the grassroots with participation, and I think it's such an awesome space for people thinking about getting into sport or looking for a place where to start as well, because you do develop a very essential skill, and that is empathy for the core customer, which will help you no matter what direction you take from there, whether it be into events and operations or into commercial or whatever it be. There are so many great examples of people who've started in game development roles who've gone on to bigger and better things. I mean, if you scroll back a few episodes and hear Joel Morrison, who's now the Executive General Manager of Events and Operations at Cricket Australia, previously CEO of Cricket NT. First role was at the AFL in game development. There's many other stories like that too. But the other great thing about game development too, from an employment point of view, is that's where all the money gets funneled. Because all these non-for-profit, sporting organisations, be it at a state level or, national body, they're bringing in massive amounts of money so they can feed it back into the grassroots and get more people playing. Because, Football New South Wales knows if more people play football, they're probably going to attend more games or watch it on TV. That's going to help the broadcast value, buy merchandise at games, and that increases, the commercial and sponsorship value of sponsoring people like Sydney FC or the Wanderers or Socceroos, Matildas. You have it. So it's in every sport's interest to invest back into the grassroots, which means that's where many jobs are. I mean, you just said that you've gone from 20 coaches to 40 coaches, and I know that AFL New South Wales are kind of on a similar sort of trajectory with the amount of money they're trying to pump into that space. As well, and what's really cool to see is now that you're helping out with the program too, it's cool to see you using it as a pathway or talent pool to fill some roles at Football New South Wales too. I saw you send out a few the other day. Is that right? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, so we've got a couple roles within the community space popping up, and they're mainly Miniroos coordinator roles, and it's a great chance for individuals to get in and get a foot in the door within their career, just because it's a great entry level role, but also it'll build your foundations within football. It gets you on the ground, so you don't just see behind a computer screen. You're actually on ground, understanding what's actually happening at these programs. I think a big success of mine was obviously I understand the school space because I was once a coach, so I knew how to deal with the kids that didn't want to play. I knew how to deal with the bratty kids. I knew how to deal with the really good players as well. But it's also trying to find a balance of that, but also how can I get the teachers to be happy in order for the retention rates to be high. So because I had that on-ground experience, once I was behind the laptop, I could then transfer that experience and obviously, as you said before, empathize and kind of understand the program, how it would be run on ground but behind a computer. So for me, the biggest thing is how can I make sure that the teachers have the most convenient time talking to us. So when they send a booking form for a program, I want to get back to them that day or the day after, maximum. Because if I'm convenient for them, they're always going to come back. Because as we know, teachers love the convenience because they have their hands so full.
Everyone does. Yeah.
Everyone does, exactly. But and now, obviously, we're in our second year of delivery, starting term 1, which started yesterday. It started on Monday. I'm already seeing schools and programs that we ran last year come back for this term. So they've received another Sporting Schools grant and they're coming straight back to football because we did an amazing job last year. And those are the numbers that we want to see. And those are the schools that we obviously want to see as well. But we just know that the program that we run is a quality program. And we want to make sure that the kids have fun, the teachers are sweet, and we kind of go from there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love like the collection of different experiences you've had in your career, whether it be like, you know, commercial, marketing rights related, game development related, schools related. I know you've had other sort of, you know, commercial opportunities in and around that too, which has given you a really good makeup of skills, which is really cool. Let's talk about the SportsGrad Method Program for a sec, because you've now got involved with the program, and it sounds like, you know, you've had an awesome experience in sport, and now I wanted, given you've come through SportsGrad as well, you're kind of like the perfect person to kind of help other people get into the sports industry. Firstly, personally for you, how have you enjoyed having the calls with people looking to get started with a career in sport?
Yeah, look, everyone's been amazing. So everyone that's come onto the calls, whether it's the start of your career or you're in the midst of your career or even at the end of your career, everyone that I've spoken to has been amazing. I know that they want a sports career and they want to get into the sports industry so much that I can definitely see that. And obviously with my experience, I want to make sure that I can do my best to help them. And hence why I joined with you as well, to assist yourself and get individuals into the method program, just because I know that it's a proven method. I know that everyone that will come on board can change their life if they kind of let themselves do it or take action. A lot of individuals have been on the fence, but totally understandable.
Have you found it rewarding in any way, shape or form to kind of help people get started with their career? Yeah,
definitely. I always want to help individuals, just because like I may have, during the tough times when I was selling Pokemon cards and football cards, it was tough for me back then, and I didn't get that much help. Whereas I want to help as much as possible and ensure that no one is in that scenario, or using now myself having a huge not a huge network, but now having a big network. I think I can do my best to help the next person if they feel that they're not confident, if they feel that they're kind of vulnerable as well. I want to ensure that I help everyone that I cross paths with.
It sounds like you're similar to me, because like, you know, that was how I got started with SportsGrad. It was like, I know how hard this has been for me. Like it took me 5 years to break into Cricket Australia. And I know how rewarding that was, and that's, you know, a large part of my motivation for doing SportsGrad. It sounds like, you know, you've felt that struggle, and this is kind of give you that opportunity to pay it forward too.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, yeah, definitely. And growing up, my parents were always like, hey, you have to help others as well as yourself. So I feel like I am a giving person as well. I'd rather everyone have a piece of the pie than myself have majority.
And like, it's been a few years since you were a part of the membership of SportsGrad, and what's your like impression of like what SportsGrad offers now from like a program point of view compared to like what it used to be with the monthly sort of memberships, where it's like, you know, hey, here's a few resources, take it if you leave it, whereas now it's a full-blown sort of, you know, program. What have you thought of the new offering?
Oh, the new offering's unreal. Like if this program was there back then, I would have jumped on it straight away, because I would have known it's an investment for myself. But also I would have known that if I do this program, I know I'm going to get the end result that I'm looking for. Obviously, with the resources and everything is great, but it's yourself, and you don't get a different view from other individuals like yourself who teach you new things and unlock things in your brain where you're like, oh shit, I can actually do this. Or I've never thought about doing this, but it's been in front of me this whole time. So the program offering now, it helps you, obviously, it supports you. It helps you with, obviously, the online learnings, the online workshops, gets you in front of a mentor as well, to ensure that you try and get the best role that you want and the best desired outcome.
Now, obviously, there's a certain number of places that we can offer to people at any given time, and given we are making connections and sending short lists out to organisations, we don't accept everybody.
Yeah.
So when they jump on a call with you, what is some of the ways that people can be successful in their application to allow themselves to get accepted into SportsGrad?
I think definitely if you are determined, determination is very much a huge sign that, like, why do you want this? And it's not just a one-line answer. I want this because X, Y, Z, and then go into examples, etc. There's been so many determined people that I've spoken to that just need this program in order to get a break in sport. That's one way. Another way is, obviously, I kind of do more of like a character check as well. So I determine whether they're a good fit just based off the conversation that I can pull off. So in the calls, it's not like an interview where I'm kind of interrogating them, but I want to make it a chat so they feel free, they feel comfortable to talk to us. That way I can get the best answers from them, and that's how I determine whether they're a good fit or not.
And then you go offer them a place from there.
Exactly, that's right. Yep. And to be fair, I've had so many great chats recently, and the only thing that I want to do is help them, because I know that if they, obviously, when they do join the program, I know that I'll be able to assist them by connecting them with one individual from my network, whether it's Melbourne or Sydney or wherever it is in Australia. Or even
London. We've got people in New York now.
Exactly.
Someone's in Japan. That's right. India. All over the place, which is really cool.
Oh, 100%. And I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, how far does my network go with my experience? And it definitely goes to the UK, goes to Turkey, obviously, because of my background. But like, I also know a guy called Boris Schommers. He was a third division German Bundesliga coach, and pretty much that relationship came out of just a conversation. And we chat here and there on WhatsApp every couple months. But now he's a sports pundit, and he wants to kind of put coaching aside, but also do sports coaching in between. But he's always looking for obviously opportunities, but he also has a huge network just in Germany. So I was like, oh geez, I've got this guy in my corner as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. It's funny, like the SportsGrad network is kind of growing exponentially every day with like all the new people who join, they get a job. We pair it up with a mentor. Mentor's got a network, so it's just like there's wires connected everywhere, which is really cool.
Exactly.
But like, to your point, the last thing I'll say on the application process, which given I have instructed you on a lot of this sort of stuff, the last thing I'll say to that point is, like, there are so many people that have got the energy and the willpower and the motivation to do it, but are kind of spinning their tires in the mud, just like trying lots of different things. And so if as long as you are willing to kind of bring the action, like, we can steer that in the right direction, and that's really what we're looking for most. Which is really like that sort of thing that we're looking for is really just a filtered down version of what the sports industry is looking for. Because like, so many jobs in sport don't require you to have like a specific degree or even set of experience, because so many jobs are so niche and like require very specific training to do, the role that, like, you can't get trained up anywhere else to do.
Yeah.
So really, it's like as long as you can bring energy and action and you're a good person to this sports organisation, we can train you up and do the rest. Like that is the constant conversation that's getting fed back to me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Ruben, we just want someone who we can coach and is going to bring action. It's like, cool. All right, well, that's going to kind of become our filtering process as well for the program too.
Exactly.
So yeah, if you can make it into SportsGrad, then you should be able to make it into the sports industry based on that.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Last question for you. This has been a great chat. I've really enjoyed getting to know you a bit more as well. But I wanted to ask you a question around advice you would give to yourself at the moment in time when you were thinking, nah, I can do this myself. Like I've just left FIFA Women's World Cup. I've just been rejected by AO, and you're thinking, nah, surely I'm competent enough. I can do this myself. Then obviously you went on to get the membership. What advice would you go back and give to yourself when you did feel like that ego was enough?
I definitely join as quick as possible. Just because I
didn't ask you to say that, by the way.
No, 100%. But like, no, 100%. I would have definitely joined as quick as possible, because I know what I know now is that obviously Ruben is a wizard.
Also didn't ask you to say that.
But like,
let's just be clear.
No, definitely. Like Ruben, I've like obviously felt the support being within the program or working within the program and assisting everyone else. But I know that if I joined quicker, I may have received a job offer quicker. And it's just not only does Ruben have the network, but he has unreal talent, just because he can teach in a way that obviously unlocks things in your brain, but he can also empathize with you. He can also ensure that you are being supported, but in a way that, in the most simplest way. Like I might be talking and I stutter here and there and whatever, but Ruben does it in a way where he will explain something, or in a video or in a call or even at a network event, and you'll go home and be like, geez, I know exactly what I need to do. And that's obviously kudos to you and your experience and what you've learned over the years. But
Jeez, Ruben guy sounds great. Thank you.
That's right.
That's very flattering.
No, that's all right. And obviously in like choosing the individuals within SportsGrad as well, like I've had the opportunity to work with these individuals as well, and they're unreal individuals. And back to your point where you were saying the individuals that want to get into sport, I saw it a heap at Sydney FC, at Football New South Wales, where if you have that can-do attitude, if you have a good life perspective in the way that, yeah, this is what I want to do, and if you have a positive mindset as well as the can-do attitude and the hard work, they will inevitably be able to mold you in the way that that role desires. So that's one area.
So you would have said all that to yourself in 2023.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Ruben's the man.
I mean, like, I know we're talking about the program, but
sorry. I'll give it.
No, that's great. That's lovely.
So no worries.
We'll keep that in. But I am interested in like,
No.
in what relevant to yourself.
Sorry, mate.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah, relative to myself, definitely. I think just get onto the program as quick as possible. Just because I know that it's a proven method, and at the end of the day, it's an investment into yourself. So I always say this as well: not a lot of people actually invest into themselves. So if you hire a personal trainer for yourself, you're investing into yourself, but you're trying to make yourself a better person or better looking individual. You might join a program for like a diet program, etc., but you're investing into yourself. This is also an investment to yourself. So I would definitely get on to SportsGrad quicker, just because of the proven methods. And to be fair, the testimonials say it all. We were the there's so many different testimonials that are always positive that you know it's going to be a great program. So why wouldn't I join it as quick as possible? Like, I'd be stupid to do it on my own because at that time when you're vulnerable and when there's all these things going on and your head's actually murky, it's not clear. This is the program that will get you into the clear, and then you can make the best decisions from there. Whereas when you are a little bit like all over the place, one day you're good, one day you're not so good, the next day you're in between, the decisions that you make aren't the best. Whereas when you're with SportsGrad or when you're with a program when you're with SportsGrad, Ruben and the team will ensure that you are making the best decisions for yourself and investing, and that's an investment for yourself at the end of the day.
What how much time, energy, stress, etc. do you think you would have saved yourself back at that point in time where you were trying to do it alone?
Oh, mate, and everything. I wouldn't have tried to lose the house.
Is that what you're thinking of doing? You thinking of giving up your rent and selling Pokemon cards? Like, that was the consequence of not taking action sooner.
Yeah, look, the time I was literally, it was the time that I was searching for roles and applying for roles, doing the interview. It was like a full-time job. So that's stressful. That stress just builds and builds and builds. So the longer you go without actually receiving a role, the more stressful it is. Just because you have so much going on in your life as well. Not only is it just normal everyday life, but you have this burden on you as well. So the longer it goes, the more stressful it is. I can't really tell you how much stress, and I can't really gauge that, but it's a lot. And you don't really want to put yourself through that unless you want the life experience. But trust me, when I say this, it's more so if I'd gone with SportsGrad earlier, I would have received so many offers earlier. And I know that as a fact just by being in the program now. So I think, obviously, if anyone's listening to this, I hope you are. Definitely take a think and consider it, but also just ensure that you put your ego aside and you kind of put your thinking cap on and think, okay, when do I want to roll? Like, if you want it in the next month or 2 months or 3 months, then why aren't you joining? Because inevitably it's a proven method to get you into the sports industry. And I always say, when you are in the sports industry, you can build on your role, and once you're ready, you might want to hop to another area, or you might actually get an opportunity in another department within the company that you're at. It's easier to hop within roles within a company, whereas if you're outside of the industry, it's so much harder because you're competing with all the individuals inside the company as well. So I would just put that out there as well.
And just to reiterate one of your points, even from a business point of view, like, there were many years where I was like, yeah, I can do this on my own. I've never run a business before in my life. Like, who am I to think that I can, do something grand and successful when I've never actually done it before? Yeah. And it was probably 2 years ago now that I invested in a business coach, business mentor, and joined a program similar to SportsGrad, but for growing a business. And it's just been like the best thing I've ever done. Yeah. It was bloody expensive, especially when I upgraded to their premium tier. Yeah. But my God, has it saved me so much time and given me so many answers and playbooks where I'm like, how do I, even make a hiring decision or, set up something from a marketing point of view. It's just like, hey, we've already done it. Here's what you go and do. I'm like, great. I don't have to guess now. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I told my mum how much I paid to invest in that, she almost started crying. But I was like, "Don't worry, mum. We'll make it pay off eventually."
Yeah, but how much better do you feel?
Oh, so much better. I mean, it's progressed things massively. I mean, SportsGrad now is I think we've got a team of like 9 or 10 people doing a bunch of different things now compared to like, just me and Jai kicking the tires.
Yeah.
And things are growing rapidly at this point in time, and we're talking in February 2026, we've just passed 160 people in the program where like, a year ago, didn't even know if the program was going to be a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely paid off already, and
cool.
And will probably still be one of the best investments that I have made in SportsGrad with every year that goes past. And my hope for people that join the SportsGrad is that every year after you join, the investment just continues to pay off more and more and more again.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we might leave it there.
Yeah.
Tuna, thanks for coming in.
No worries.
Lovely
Thanks
to
for
have a
having
chat.
me.
And finally, if you do want to have a think about joining the SportsGrad program, book a call with Tuna. He'd love to chat with you and help you get started in the sports industry.
Perfect. Thank you very much for having me.